Hi, I'm Dr. Anna Marie.
And I'm Cortney McDermott.
And we're here to talk about the inner teacher.
Yes, today we want to start this series with this discussion, and then we're going to move on to some other things that are useful, especially in the new year.
All right, Cortney, what is the inner teacher? And actually, before we dive into that, let's share with everyone, what are we doing here and why do we choose to take the time to record something as important as this?
Yeah, so especially in terms of the inner teacher, one of the things that you and I are often on about when we meet with clients, when we meet with audiences around the world, is your way back to your own truth. Mm-hmm. And whatever thing is pointing you to look externally is, in my mind, missing the mark. And when instead, whatever it is pointing the way back to you, it's, hey, you've got the ruby slippers. That's when you're in business. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I think like the inner teacher is that alignment that we feel.
Yeah.
Because some people may be asking like, well, what is the inner teacher? Like, how do I know I'm being led by my inner teacher versus being led by the outside world? Mm-hmm. For me, it feels like this sense of alignment and things just kind of clicking, almost being in flow. Mm. What is that like for you?
Well, one of the reasons that we got on about this was intuition, right? The word itself is tuition, right? Teaching, and inner. So an inward knowing, an inner knowing. And all of us experience this differently, but everyone watching has experienced it in some way. And the way I experience it is going to be different from the way you experience it, the way whoever's listening or tuning in, watching is experiencing it. And what's important is to really get with what that looks like for you. So for me, I get different kinds of hits and they come in different forms too. But some people will tell me when we're talking about this, that it's in their gut, that it's in their heart. They just knew something. And then lots of times people get this hit from their intuition or their inner teacher and they don't listen to it. And so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to get together, was this deep listening. And when someone's really in deep listening with themselves and the world around them, everything changes.
Yes, it really does. And I think when it comes to that inner teacher, one thing that really helped me was the inner teacher comes in with love and gentleness and guidance versus that fear. So that intuition, sometimes I think we're like, well, am I making the right decision or am I not? I think when we get to our breath and we just take a moment to clear and pause, like the inner teacher, the inner intuition, it comes in very quickly and it's very light and gentle, and then it leaves. Anything beyond that is us going up to our analytical mind and really probably, I look at it as we're reacting to the outside world. And I should be doing this. I should be doing that. It should look a certain way. It should be perfect. It, all the things up here versus in here. So now that hopefully the audience can kind of sit with that inner teacher intuition. Okay, we kind of grasp our head about like, what is that? What is the importance of the inner teacher? Like, why is it important that, one, we have this conversation, and two, that people discover it?
Well, first I want to take a moment and go back to when our head is telling us something different, right? Then you pointed down here, you pointed to the heart, right? And it's that alignment that you were talking about earlier, and that coherence, when all systems, all body minds are on board, that is also what we're talking about when we talk about the importance of this inner guidance that we get. Because lots of times the question of kind of the mind coming into it is that you're doubting what you know to be true. And so I think, again, coming back to this, what you just talked about a second ago, the intuition and the importance of that, it's everything. It's the inner intelligence that knows beyond knowing. And we all know what this is, because sometimes people will say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I call it by many names, right? I call it by God, principally. I call it by many names, right? And it's a rose is still a rose by any other name. So we can call it by different names, but we all know what it is, because it is the one that is beating your heart without you having to think about it.
Yes.
Okay. It is the one that is orchestrating everything in the galaxies. It's the single cell that represents the entire cosmos, right? And we can know this when we just sit with it, when we just get with it. And the importance of it is like I said, it's everything. Because once you get with it, you don't want to get with anything else. Yeah.
Okay, that is so true. And it reminds me, because we've been working together, when I went into that mastermind and I was asked to come speak at this mastermind. And, there's many times that I've been asked to go speak places, and then it's like, okay, I need to say this. And like it becomes like this elevated, heart beating faster, starting to sweat experience of anticipation and a little bit of stress. And, I like to tell myself it's excitement. It's not, it's not fear. But this was the first time that I walked into a meeting not stressed. My heart was calm. I didn't even need to wear deodorant that day. I showed up as my true authentic self, but in such brain heart coherence. It was literally incredible. And it was a defining moment, because I remember I called you and I told you about this experience. It was the first time I showed up. I didn't care if they liked me.
Yeah.
I didn't care if they didn't get it. All I cared about was that I showed up with my heart open and to share my knowledge. And that was it. There was no expectation beyond that. And I think that's part of what we're doing here with deciding to record this. Is we were talking about, we'd like to record something that, one, you and I both say, we don't know all the answers. We don't know all the answers, but what we do know is we've discovered this inner peace that we can all achieve. And we just wanted to share this knowledge with you out there and just kind of help you and bring you into this opportunity that lives within all of us, that God created in all of us. And I think it's just, often it's like, how do we do this thing? Sell the next program, do this, do that. Everything's in like this force. And you and I are like, let's slow it down.
Yeah.
Let's come in together. So yeah, it's that coherence of not trying to prove ourselves to anyone, not trying to convince anyone of anything, but just being at total peace and just sharing from a loving, open heart.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's the cosmos and the chaos. Right? It's holding that. One of the reasons we decided to record out here is because he said anything could happen. There could be a leaf blower that pops up. There could be
fire truck up
people
the
love
street.
blowing leaves. It's so it's like the nemesis is anyway, or whatever. Yeah, fire truck or police going by or someone, whatever. And we said, this is exactly it, because how do you connect with that truth that lives inside of you, regardless of what's going on? And I loved your stage story, your mastermind story. When we were talking about that, it reminded me of years ago. I remember distinctly the first time I took the stage that I let go of performance. And what came through was almost just this pure electric current of knowing. And to your point, I don't know anything as Cortney McDermott, who's out in the world doing the things. This inner intelligence, though, it knows things that I can't account for. It creates experiences, transformations, transmissions, which was another reason that we wanted to do this, because it's a transmission. It's about being together fully and wholly, which is why I love Happy Whole You so much. By the way, oh my gosh, if you ever get to Bakersfield, check out Happy Whole You, because it's where it's at. And it's just this point of when you come into, as you were saying at the very beginning, alignment and coherence with this, everything can start to shift.
Yeah. And it does. And it happens pretty darn quickly, which is something that I was surprised about. I mean, to be honest, like I've lived a lot of my life using force, using control, wanting to control the environment, wanting to control situations. And honestly, we were talking about recording this. I was like, oh, let's do it at the house down the street in front of the couch, because we won't have all the outside noise, right? Like I wanted to control the environment.
Right.
And you were my great reminder of like, Anna Marie, like we should do it outside on the patio at Happy Whole You. Like there's going to be, you know, the chaos going on in the background, but what an opportunity for us to just like drop in and still be able to do this.
Yeah.
And so I think too, it's a practice. It's that coherence, and it's a practice, because I find myself coming out of it and then I'm like, oh, but wait, we get to just chill here, you know, and because it's kind of a going in and going back for me right now as I keep diving deeper and deeper into this trust. And it's been a really, really cool experience. Yeah. And just keeps getting better. But the time, I feel like we always laugh because it feels like 10 lifetimes in one day.
Yeah.
Like, because things just start flowing in so much faster, so much faster.
Yeah.
And you know, what's interesting is this coherence that we're talking about. A lot of people may think about the word manifestation. I'd like to kind of dive into that word for a moment.
Yes. Yes.
Because I found two very different things. You talked about the transmission and the alignment.
Yeah.
There's a transition and alignment that goes hand in hand with this manifestation, like creating the life that you truly desire. And I've hired people that are all about manifesting, but there's not that transmission and that alignment. So, I mean, I have some stories around it, but I want to hear from you, like share with ultimately our friends, like what is manifesting to you and how does that word play into all of this?
I want to take a brief moment to just glimmer back to this point about a practice, right? And sometimes people can think, and it's really in line with this conversation around manifesting, because lots of times people think, oh, I've got to do more things. You know, I've got a new practice. You're going into the new year and you got to whatever, have the 30 minutes set aside for meditation and this and that and the other thing. And really what we're talking about is totally different. Totally and completely different. In fact, I'm kind of laughing all the time right now, seeing all these different ads about manifest your 2026 and, you know, here's all the different things that you get to do and have to do. And I just inwardly, the jester in me is laughing so hilarious, just uproariously, because manifesting, first of all, I think that's a misnomer. A lot of people use this word manifesting, and again, they're talking about doing more things to create something that you want. And really, it's actually, no, you get to relax into a deep remembrance that you already are everything that you're seeking. It's a very, very different vibration and frequency. And when you're in it, everything is kind of supersonic speed, but you experience it almost as if it were in slow motion. So when people say to me, they don't know where the time goes, I know very well where the time is going. And there are so many lifetimes that I have led in this life and that have lent themselves to this deeper understanding of we get to rise over and over and over again through the direction of our consciousness. And so manifestation, yeah, it's a funny one because people will often use it to refer to this kind of, I'm going to make it happen. Oh my God, every time I hear that expression, again, the jester in me just laughs because you don't make anything happen. You awaken to a potential that exists in the field.
Mm-hmm. That's already in the
yes.
quantum field.
Well, we can call it quantum. You can, again,
particles aligning.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think a lot of times people like to use a lot of fancy terms. And, you and I study this stuff. I study quantum physics. I study, theoretical physics. I study even Newtonian physics to understand the A to Z, right? What does that process look like? I've studied epigenetics. I've studied neuroscience. And I know you're as well fascinated with all these fields and what it teaches us about the brain and the body. And yet, there is something far more compelling than anything that the science can point us to, which is, again, this inner teacher and the awakening to a vibration that is the vibration of that which you seek. And when you awaken to it, again, you are lighting a possibility that already exists. It's take, for example, you're in a building and you're on the first floor and you want to get to the 10th floor. Okay. The 10th floor exists. The 10th floor in that building, it exists.
It's there.
But you're on floor 1. So there's an ascension process. And the clearest ascension process, and if you take the law of least effort, which is the least amount of effort in the smallest amount of time, is being the thing, is knowing the thing in yourselves before you've experienced it externally. All of this, as we know, again, from physics, right? From what Bohr and Einstein and oh God, who was one of my favorites? God, what he had to say about intelligence, about the nature of matter being non-matter. Oh, okay. His name eludes me at the moment, but he was a Nobel Prize quantum physicist. And the point is, nothing that we see in the physical is truly physical in the ways that we believe to perceive it, right? Or that our perception leads us to believe it, to be a solid, for example. So that's where, again, aligning to something of a deeper truth, and it can happen in an instant. And you and I have seen that so often in our work, where people just align instantaneously to the truth that already exists, and then they are no longer seeing the previous versions of themselves and the environment in which they were.
Yes. And the fact that we are more energy than we are physical matter, one of the things I always talk to clients about, because they'll come in here and they'll talk about their physical ailments. And I remind them that if we go inside every single cell till we can't go any further, the only thing that's left is energy, which is a quantum atom. So to not address the energetics of the human body and to only address like the physical, the do more, take more supplements, biohack, do all these things, which I'm not against any of those. I do all those things. Do it. Happy will you. But there's an aspect of the alignment, the mind and the spirit, the energy that is, if we don't address that, we never will achieve true healing and inner peace. And that blows my mind. Because when I got into the wellness field, I was all about exercise, if that's going to solve all your problems. And I was like, well, we got to do something about this nutrition thing. So let's eat super healthy and all the things. And I was doing those things and I still wasn't okay inside.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started working on that mind and the spirit and the alignment that I started to relax into and ease into allowing life to flow through me versus feeling like everything was against me. And that, I feel like, is just like the ultimate win in life. The ultimate win. I gave a talk this weekend at the California Naturopathic Association conference, and everyone, so many brilliant minds there. And they were getting up and they were talking about, different supplements, ingredients, vaccines, and all these physical things. The more things we need to take and all of that. And, when it was my turn, I love that I got to get up there and just remind all of us that we can do all the exercise, eat all the things, take all the supplements. But if we don't get into alignment with our soul's purpose and work on not just our mindset, but just like our perception of what's going on, true healing doesn't take place. And so, yeah, this whole energy thing and alignment and transmission it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people listening there's a point, right, where we do this work. There's the work to do. And in a way that's true. But what you and I have also discovered is that the work happens naturally as a result of who you believe yourself to be. And the relaxing piece, which is so often so hard to hear, is at the core of this kind of change that we're talking about, to be the one who does the thing. And lots of times people discount it and they say, oh gosh, Court, I don't have time to go lay down for, 5 minutes. And that's where I always borrow from the Dalai Lama, who, when talking about meditation, said something along the lines of, if you think you don't have 10 minutes, take an hour. And what's happening when you relax, when you go into states of relaxation, which you know well in the scans that you do on people and that I've seen in countless studies as well, is your brainwave frequencies almost instantaneously start to shift. So if most of us are going around in high beta every day, right, which again, we're talking about cycles per second in the brain. And if a lot of people are going in high beta, the best way I ever heard this described is like having a 4-gear race car that you're driving around in first gear.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pedal to the metal. I'm going to get there no matter what. And a lot of people are living their lives that way. And so if you feel that you're close to that, or you're in mid-range beta or even low-range beta, where you do start to have more access to your creativity, etc., lie down. I promise you that this is the technology that's going to work better than any other thing you can practice, right? Lots of times people even say to me, oh, well, it's really hard for me to meditate. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't get still. And I say, look, in my work, I've found the greatest meditations to be yawning and laughing. Yawning and laughing. Go lay down and yawn for 30 seconds. You're going to be moving out of beta into alpha within 30 seconds. And if you're extremely, extremely high strung, it'll take a little bit longer, but you're going to start to also release a whole host of neurotransmitters into your bloodstream that are going to help you not just be more creative, but to move through what it is that you have to move through with that intelligence of the cosmos within. Yeah.
So yawning or laughing.
Yes.
So I challenge you to not go out, to lay down, literally, and try that. Just start giggling. We giggle all the time. We giggle all the time about just the
life.
Like, we're like, oh gosh, everything is pretty funny. Like, even the things that we think like people would find like stressful, or like we kind of start giggling at ourselves, because this is the whole experience, right? Like, people go through their life trying to like weave in and out to not feel certain things.
Yeah.
And so when you relax into it, it's, Michael Singer. I'll never
love that man.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember which of his books he wrote this in, because they're all great, but he talked about, we have these past experiences and they're like thorns stuck in our body, right? And then he's like, and then we go through the life and we're like weaving in and out and trying to like,
don't touch my thorns.
Yeah, like
don't
the Matrix out there.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch any of my thorns, because I don't want to feel that one thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, why the hell didn't anyone just tell us to just pull them out?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
take them out, like let them go. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Why didn't anyone tell us or teach us how to do that? And I feel like with the thorns that I've had in my life, breath work has been so incredible for me. I mean, I can literally feel, we'll use those thorns, but moving and releasing from my body through just my breath.
Right.
And it gets us out of that beta state, and it gets us into this state of theta and getting deeper into this consciousness of the ultimate intelligence. And it's so incredible. Anyone that, if you haven't tried a breathwork practice or class, I mean, there's so many
go to this one here. Go to this one here.
I'll teach them every once in a while, but I mean, get yourself in a room I actually had a lady come up to me this weekend, and she was like wanting to know how to lose all the weight and all the things. And her energy was so, I mean, she was so on another planet in terms of she wasn't in the moment.
In her body.
She wasn't.
Yeah.
And she was somewhere else. So, I could have sold her a bunch of supplements.
Hey, as we said, we got a little horn action.
I couldn't bring myself to do that. I'm like, girl, I'd encourage you, I invite you to go find a breathwork class. Maybe a couple. Find different instructors, but go and just breathe. Lay down on a floor. Go breathe. Have that environment, that professional to be with you. And she said to me, she goes, oh, well, I breathe all the time, and I do breath work all the time, and I do and I'm like, so we can get the apps, we can do all the things, but I feel like there's something about putting yourself with others that are, I don't know, that collectiveness of energy and getting yourself into that space that is just, I just love that feeling. Yeah. So I know it works for me, but I encourage everyone else to put yourself in that situation, because it's a pretty cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Notice what works for you too, and if some of these things feel like, oh, that's not it, find what is, it's so simple. Yes. It's so simple that it is elusive. And so a lot of what we talk about, again, it's not add another thing on. It's actually strip away what's in the way of the truth that wants to shine through you. Yes. And that leads us full back to why we did this first session: intuition, inner teacher. Shine back on it in the ways that work for you. I mean, I talk to people, sometimes they say, oh, I'm in that state of bliss when I'm mowing the lawn. I've had people tell me that that's their bliss moment. They're out there, they're mowing the lawn, they're in that frequency. And very much to your point, you can go to places. I mean, you and I are also, we're going to co-host an event at the 4th of January where you can go and actually experience what you're talking about, this entrainment. Entrainment is a very real thing. When you're around people who are in the frequency, the vibrational frequency of that which you would like to mirror and have mirrored in your life, magic happens. I mean, there's really no other way to say it, because even though we know a lot of the science, or we've learned a lot of the science behind this, there is this element of awe every single time we get to experience what it is that we're talking about, and that anyone who comes around is getting to experience. And it's just such a gift. Yes. Such a gift.
It is. It is. Yeah. And it's putting yourself in those environments to allow yourself to experience it. Because what we're talking about, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't learn this when I was younger. Yeah. I didn't have parents that were in flow with life. I mean, I didn't. My daddy was a high school dropout. My mom was pregnant at 17, and I was raised by two people in fight or flight.
Yeah.
And so that's all I knew to be in was fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And once I discovered that I don't have to live that way, wow.
Yeah, can I say I am so happy you're bringing this back up, because there was a point when you were speaking earlier that I really wanted to point out for those listening, watching. This wasn't always this way for us.
No.
We were both like hyper controlling, make it happen, at different points in our life. Mm-hmm. And if I had heard someone talking about some of these concepts at that time, I think I would have blown them off, because I would have assumed that the only way to get where I was going was Newtonian, was I'm at point A, I want to get to point B, I have to hustle and bustle and do all the things. Mm-hmm. And so what we're talking about is actually the exhaustion of having gone through that and gotten to all the places, collected all the gold stars. And even in my TEDx talk or my first book, I talk about getting to that place that everyone says is a success. And I jokingly say I was miserably successful. Now, I wasn't totally miserable. So it was kind of it was a joke, but at the same time, there was a truth in that it was so stiff and so forced. And what does it look like when we just open up and again shed a lot of what's in the way of this inner teacher we've been talking about? So
Yeah.
if you're on about that, yeah, we're here for it. And yeah.
I think some clues, like when you're out, when you're not listening to that inner teacher, are you worry if you take a day off. Like you might miss business, or you're like, I have to get this podcast out every month, or like the I have to.
Yeah.
Like it's that scarcity mindset. Okay, so I hired a manifesting coach.
We've all made this mistake.
I did. I hired a manifesting coach once, and it was like, you know, in my brain, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hire this coach. She's going to teach me how do I manifest the life that I want. Right. So I was like outside searching that this person was going to do this, like pretty much for me, like show me 1, 2,
the
3,
steps,
like, how to
the
do
recipe.
it.
Yeah.
And what I learned was how to upsell after everything I talked about, how to create urgency, force, scarcity on what I was selling and what I was doing to create more income for myself. And during that coaching that I did with that person, there was an awakening that started to happen in me because I felt so out of alignment. I felt rushed. I felt this uneasiness in my stomach. Every time before I would get on the call, I would feel anxious.
Yeah.
I'd get off the call, I'd feel even more anxious because I felt like I was 10 years behind everybody else and I'm not doing all the things that I need to do. Yeah. And it was a very awakening experience for me. And I'm so grateful for it because I was like, wow, I was living like that for so long. And it was being amplified by this experience. And I realized, like, I don't want this. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to lead with force. And that's when I really started to feel like I was like, okay, in that heart coherence and being in flow and trusting. And that was like the best coaching I got though. Because I came out of it like
absolutely
like this, like trying to discover this. So I share that because that wasn't a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think often when we are out of alignment, it's almost exhausting. We buy the programs, we do all the things, we hire people, and there's great people to hire. I mean, don't get me wrong. But even the bad ones we hire, they teach us something too.
Exactly.
But I think that if you go back to that breath and just relaxing into it, if it doesn't align, we get to let go.
Yeah.
I think that's important to recognize.
Yeah. And the other piece in that is growth is often found in pain. It's found in stretching yourself in really uncomfortable ways so you can step into something new. I remember when my daughter, when she was really little, she would have these growing pains in her legs, and we'd be up in the middle of the night. She'd be hollering, and I would tell her, you know, it's okay, baby, you're growing. And of course, she didn't understand that, and she didn't care. She was just in pain. But from this perspective of a loving intelligence that's there by your side, in you, with you, right? Because we know this, we've experienced this firsthand with our kids. There is so much beauty in it. There's so much beauty in those experiences that shock us into new versions of ourselves. And so again, that's why we've come together. We haven't come together we don't have the audacity to believe that we know what anyone else should do, or to be just another source of do all these things and start all these practices. This is about connecting with a deep inner knowing that is yours, that is your divine innate right. And so just so excited to be in this together. Yeah. So Yeah. Thank you to everyone who listened today. And thank you. Yeah, I feel so much gratitude to be sitting around and just real together all the time, every single time, all the time. It's like not just with the mics in our faces, but just all the time. It's such a gift. And, look for people like that. I think I would say is the last thing that I would like to add to this is just look for people like it, whether it's coming to one of our events, again, not something that's just getting you to do another thing, but something that's getting you with people who are invested in being the truest versions of themselves over and over again, right? Is like finding that reinvention in yourself, embracing it with people who are about that too, and really, yeah, continuing to kind of this upward beautiful spiral into discovery of this inner teacher. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what it is. It's a discovery.
Yeah.
We're so glad you guys showed up today, and we'll be back.
Yeah. See ya.